the agenda. Please limit your remarks to 3 minutes and direct them at me. Try to get them answered if you have questions. Speakers agree to abide by the code of conduct. The first speaker is Carmen Delessio.
Hello everyone, my name is Carmen Delessio. Paid taxes in Pound Ridge since 1999. I'd like to recognize and thank Mr. Day for his consistent views on the school closure and trade also involved. Janet, thank you for making transparency important. Marjorie, you said that you were focused on listening. I heard that. I thank you for that. Mr. Stone, there you are. You answered I don't know to a question. That's something I tell everyone to do. If you don't know the answer, say I don't know, and I really appreciate that and thank you for it. I've met some wonderful neighbors, Susan Lasota, Paul, and Lynn Gainey, and I gotta tell you, more people in the last week than you can imagine. For some people, this is when it starts. This is the new issue for them right now. They didn't know. I've met Mr. Roy Burke, and I've committed to Mr. Burke that I will be at every future board meeting, closure or no closure. When class size numbers of 20, 21, or 23 are discussed for kindergarten, I'll be here. When class sizes over 25 are discussed for third grade, I'll be here. When Dr. Kreitzer, does his job and points to the board and says, this board does not have hope as a plan, they must act. I'll be here, and I'll think of the Milgram experiments and wonder how the board handles that authority. I'll be here when there's a packed room at 7:30, and I'll be here when Mr. Day refers to the 8 people in the room at 11:45. I'll be here. I'll be here when Dr. Kreitzer says at a public forum, this is democracy in action. Democracy in action. And I'll be there when the discussion turns to binding a future board. Binding a future board, the most anti-democratic tactic I can think of. Anti-democratic. If you believe in closing a school, run on it. That is democracy in action. That is true democracy in action. In short, when it comes to observing this Board of Education, I am not done. I want to talk about patterns for progress. The town that I grew up in is Maybrook, New York. Let me show you what a patterns for progress town looks like. This is the whitewashed windows in the vacant store. This is the house with boards on it, 1 block from where my parents live. This is the house with no siding on it, 2 blocks from where my parents live. This is the boarded up house on Main Street. This is the condemned notice on the boarded up house on Main Street. This is not a Patterns for Progress community. One of the few independent things that this committee has looked at is Patterns for Progress. It's not right. Maybrook, New York closed. Where I grew up, they closed the school. They had no choice. There was grave financial distress. They had no choice. You have a choice. This district is in good financial standing. You have to consider that there is no emergency and no crisis. KLSD is a healthy district. And what I heard tonight, Dr. Kreitzer, Mike Jumper, you made that happen. Good. Good. Pat yourselves on the back and take a compliment. Closing a school is not a conservative choice. It is not the conservative choice. It is the most risky choice. We are in a tax cap environment. Let's look at even what Mike Jumper says. In 6 years out, if we have to close a school, we will pierce the tax cap and all the programs that you love, Latin, PE, they'll be cut. Do you want to be known, I'm going to have one more sentence. Do you want to be known as the only Board of Ed in the country that did a preemptive closing of choice?